Hello, and welcome to Shadows to Life, a free new podcast novel by myself, Robert V. Johnson. Every 2 weeks on Sunday, I'm going to be releasing a chapter available on my website, www.robvjohnson.com, as well as iTunes and the Google Play Store. As I mentioned, it is going to be free, so all I'd really like in return is for those of you who enjoy it to follow me on Twitter at RobVJohnson, and to let your friends know who you think would enjoy it. That's it. Once I get enough followers or even demand for it, I'm going to try and change it to weekly releases, and hopefully, eventually, start doing contests if I can get a real following. Questions are welcome, so please don't hesitate to interact with me, especially on Twitter. Now, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself, make some acknowledgments, and give a content warning, so if that's not something you'd like to hear about, then please feel free to just skip to the prologue. About myself, I am from the Vancouver area of Canada. I spent most of my life here, other than the time I spent in high school and university in Japan, where I met my beautiful, intelligent wife, who actually happens to be from Korea. After returning home, my wife came here so we could be together, and we got married. We have a hilarious and adorable 4-year-old son, Liam. My hobbies are mostly literature and video games with interesting stories, but I also enjoy competitive fighting games, particularly Street Fighter, and martial arts, which I've been doing since around the age of 9. Now on to the acknowledgements. First, I'd like to thank my father for being the first one to listen to my ideas and tell me they were interesting. I honestly don't know if I ever would have attempted to write seriously had it not been for the encouragement that he gave me in those early days, and I'd hate to think what my life would be like had he not. Second, I'd like to thank my family and, in particular, my wife, who is kind enough to take care of our son while I get lost in the world that I created, and whose idea it was to make this story into a podcast. I'd like to thank my mom, who listens to my ideas and tells me that they're interesting, even when I can't imagine that that is so. I definitely need to thank my friend Russ, who's put an incredible amount of work into my story, reading it, editing it, and being my general grammar guru. Try saying that 3 times fast. I'd also like to thank all those who have helped by reading parts and giving me a consensus and advice in smaller format. Kyla, Musab, Jim, and everyone in the Day Nights Writers Group. You know who you are. Lastly, I'd like to thank God, who I feel has led me to this path. My life was in trouble before I discovered my passion for writing, and had I not found it, I honestly don't know what condition I would be in, or even if I would be alive. Finally, I'd also like to include a warning at this point. This novel contains explicit language, violence, and adult scenes, so please be advised it is not intended for children. If you bothered to listen to this whole introduction, then another sincere thank you to you, and please enjoy Shadows to Life.